The journey from a sun-drenched village in West Africa to the cold, unforgiving streets of an American metropolis is a story not often told. My name's Adi, and this is my story. It's not one of heroes or villains in the way you might think, but of survival, choices, and the ghosts that follow you. I was born in a small village where the rhythm of life was dictated by the seasons and the elders' wisdom. Our world was small, but it was ours. We had community, tradition, and a sense of belonging that was as natural as breathing. But poverty was a constant shadow, and the dream of America, land of opportunity, painted in bright, bold colors by those who'd left and never returned, was a powerful lure. For my family, I was that hope. They pooled everything they had, sold land that had been in our family for generations, all to send me across the ocean. I arrived in New York with a heart full of dreams and a pocket full of dollars that seemed to vanish in the city air. The America I found wasn't the one from the stories. It was a concrete jungle, vast and indifferent. The accents were thick, the pace was relentless, and the loneliness was a physical weight. I was just another face in the crowd, an outsider with a funny accent, struggling to find my footing. I took any job I could find, washing dishes, cleaning floors, working late-night shifts at a convenience store where the fear was as palpable as the cheap coffee. I saw the stark contrasts of this new world. On one side, glittering towers and endless wealth. On my side, struggle and the constant grind. The legal path felt like a dead end, a slow crawl towards a dream that seemed to get further away with each passing day. The pressure from back home was immense. Every call was a reminder of their sacrifice, their hopes pinned on me. I couldn't tell them I was failing. I couldn't admit that their dream was turning into my nightmare. That's when I met Marcus. He was from the neighborhood, and he moved with a confidence I hadn't seen before. He wasn't struggling. He was thriving. He saw the desperation in my eyes, the hunger to make something of myself. Marcus didn't offer me a job. He offered me a shortcut. He introduced me to a different kind of family, one bound not by blood, but by a shared code of the streets. My first task was simple: be a lookout. Just stand on a corner and watch. It felt easy, almost harmless. The money I made in that one night was more than I'd earned in a month of backbreaking work. It was intoxicating. For the first time since I arrived in America, I felt a sense of control, a flicker of power. I could finally send a decent amount of money home, and the relief in my mother's voice was all the justification I needed. But the streets have a way of pulling you in deeper. Lookouts become runners. Runners become enforcers. Each step up the ladder came with more money, more respect, but also more danger. The harmless feeling was gone, replaced by a constant, low-level hum of anxiety. I learned to read people, to see threats before they materialized. I learned to suppress the boy from the village and let the man of the streets take over. My life split into two. To my family back home, I was the successful son, the American dream come true. I sent them photos of me in nice clothes, standing in front of fancy cars that weren't mine. I told them stories of my import-export business, a lie that grew more elaborate with each telling. On the streets, I was Aid the Ghost, known for being quiet, efficient, and loyal. I moved through the city's underbelly, a world of clandestine meetings, whispered deals, and sudden, brutal violence. The thriller aspect of my life wasn't like in the movies. It was the constant paranoia, the fear of a rival crew, of an undercover cop, of a deal gone wrong. It was the nights I spent staring at the ceiling, wondering if a siren in the distance was for me. It was seeing friends, the only family I had in this country, disappear either to prison or to the grave. The ghost of who I used to be, the boy who loved the scent of the rain on the African soil, haunted me. He would whisper to me in my sleep, asking what I had become. The turning point came on a cold winter night. A deal went south. It was chaos, shouting, and then the deafening sound of gunfire. In the aftermath, lying on the cold pavement, was Marcus, the man who brought me into this life. The closest thing I had to a brother in this country was gone. Staring at his lifeless eyes, I saw my own reflection. I saw the end of this road. All the money, all the respect. It couldn't stop a bullet. That night, something inside me broke, or maybe something was finally put back together. The fear I had been living with was replaced by a different kind of terror. The terror of dying like that, alone on a dark street, a world away from home, having become a person my family would never recognize. Getting out wasn't as simple as just walking away. The streets don't let you go, that is. There were threats, old rivals who saw an opportunity, and the lingering fear of my own past catching up to me. It took everything I had, every ounce of street smarts I had learned, not to escalate conflicts, but to de-escalate them. I had to become a ghost in a different way, disappearing from the life I had built. I used the money I had saved, the so-called blood money, to start over. Truly this time. I moved to a different city, cut ties with everyone from my past, and got a commercial driver's license. It was honest work. Long hours on the road, watching the country blur past my window. It was lonely, but it was a clean loneliness. It was peace. On those long drives, I had a lot of time to think. I thought about the village, about the dreams of a young boy. I thought about the choices I made and the man I became. There's no easy way to reconcile the two. I can't erase the things I've done, the life I've lived. The ghosts of my past still ride with me sometimes. Silent passengers in my truck. My story isn't a cautionary tale meant to scare you. It's just a story. A story about how a dream can get twisted, and how a person can lose their way searching for a home. The American dream is a powerful idea, but for some of us, the path to it is fraught with detours and dead ends. I found my way out, but I carry the scars of the journey. And every day, I drive, putting more and more miles between me and the man I used to be, hoping that one day, I'll finally outrun his shadow. Thank you for listening.